Yes, good afternoon. This is yours truly, Ambrose Obi. Ambrose Obi is a lawyer, is a legal practitioner based in Lagos with special interest in land law practice, human rights, and commercial law practice, and of course, industrial relations. Now, I have found a need because of the incidences of house demolition in the recent past, across our nation, Nigeria. I have had the need to discuss the incidence of property demolition and what occasions it. The first point to make is that all land holdings in Nigeria, by reason of the enactment of the Land Use Act, you know, uh, was now held in trust by the governor for the citizens, for the members of the citizenry in the state. But of course, you must also take uh, cognizance of the fact that what is held in trust is not absolute holding. It is a responsibility that behoves on the governor, to ensure that land tenure and land holding, is seamless, and there are no issues or disputations are reduced greatly. But of late, we have found out that the patience for the governments, whether federal government or state government, to assume an absolute position of ownership, you know, is is uh, is a deviation from the actual intendment of the spirit and letters of the Land Use Act. The only time that the governor or the president could override private interest in the land or family interest in the land is for overriding public purpose. So you find a situation where governments will void people's holdings and title in the land, and then subsequently begin to resell, to private persons. Then that has become transactional. It is no longer public interest, and that was not the essence of the Land Use Act. So I encourage the citizens, title property owners, to be vigilant, so that you do not lose your title, on the flimsy excuse of overriding public interest, whereas the interest that was being pushed forward under the guise of overriding public interest is actually a private interest, and so the law does not support that. And I've seen that that has been that practice is growing, and you'll find that governments now find it very easy to void uh, people's titles, to revoke it. Sometimes they don't follow procedure, they revoke it, and then they move in immediately, even without court order, to effect demolition. So these situations calls for vigilance by the property owners. If you sense that your interest is being trampled upon by the government because of the might of authority available to them, that they want to override your interest, the first thing to do is seek the services of a lawyer who will help you, make the necessary application to protect your interests, because uh, you cannot, under the guise of trying to operate the Land Use Act, commit an illegality and wish for it to stand. There have been so many judgments in the recent times where government had to, the courts had to intervene in such revocations to say no, you cannot revoke uh, private interest, under the guise of public interest, overriding public interest, and then turn around and begin to sell it, to other individuals. That is commercialization of land tenure, by the government, and it is taking undue advantage of the provision that made them trustees for the people. You cannot hold something in trust and then also breach that trust. Once you breach that trust, then the foundation can no longer stand. As the Christian will say, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So this is very important, and once you take the appropriate steps, you will have saved yourself from the odium of an imminent demolition, in some cases. So this is part one. Who ensure that you also follow me to get the other versions of part two and several other discussions that may come on. You are welcome. God bless you.